Hi everyone, this is Telynn. It's January 16th, 2020. Already making our way into the new year. I've been guided to give you a spiritual reading for the collective. When I say collective, please remember that the messages that come through are will often feel like they're specifically for you, that they're intended exactly for you, and oftentimes that is the case. Other times it may not resonate with you until a week, 2 weeks, a month from now, sometimes maybe even a year from now, where other times it will resonate with another person exactly as it sounds like it should be. It's more the vibration that comes through when you hear my voice, since I'm being guided by spirit to give you these messages. It's not exactly the words that you always need to follow. The words are often obviously important. However, it's the vibration that's even more important. So pay attention to how you feel when you hear my words and when you hear the cards, the messages from the cards coming through. So our first card today is On Track, the One of Scrolls. This card can mean many different things at many different times. What's coming through today is that what you are doing and what you have been doing is right on track. A lot of times we'll feel like we messed up somewhere, we didn't take the right turn. Why am I still living in lack? Why is the man of my dreams still not in my life? What we need to remember is that it's about timing. And while it's true that time is an illusion, we do have to adhere to some of the rules of time if we're going to be thriving in this third dimensional reality that we are currently living in. So Spirit is telling you, relax, you're on track, everything is unfolding as it should. Next we have the Seven of Roses, the journey. Life is a journey. It's a never-ending journey. A lot of times we'll think, well, I'm on this journey until I get this or I get that, or I've achieved this or I've achieved that. And that may be a part of your journey, but our journey is never ending. Even when we transition into another life, our journey continues. However, this chapter, this page, whatever you feel most comfortable calling this leg of the journey, is on track. Everything you've been doing, everything you've been working towards, even what you consider to be the mistakes that you've made, they weren't mistakes. They were learning tools, they were lessons, they were little pushes to get you back on the right track. There are so many different things. You can't just say everything is a lesson. You can't just say everything is to get us on track. There's so many different meanings to everything that happens. And sometimes, yes, it was a lesson. Other times it was a push to get you back on track, and it could be a myriad of other things. It's always important to keep an open mind. The Queen of Scrolls. She's an important being in that she's indicating there's an energy that's very, very special, very profound, very strong, very good, very balanced. It's a positive card, a very positive card. Next we have birth. Now, a lot of people are probably expecting, and that's wonderful, bringing a new life into the world. But birth is also a transformation for many, a birthing of an idea. You might have been working on a project that may be on track, or it may be something that you thought should have happened sooner. But the birth of it is going to be coming soon and in the right time. Whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you are birthing it. It's coming to you. And if it's a baby, congratulations, it's a blessing. Then we have paths unknown. So this card is telling me that it's okay to venture down a road you haven't been down before. We need to pay attention to our guidance system. When you're feeling the emotions very strongly that you're on the right track, very likely meaning that you are. But one thing to always remember is feel things through the eyes of love. And this is not a romantic kind of love necessarily. It's love for oneself, love for the planet, the universe, everything. Everything is one anyway. So you can't differentiate, although we do. It's not, we're not meant to be differentiated. We're supposed to love, our souls know that we are to love everyone as we love ourselves, that we're all connected. We're all the waves in the ocean. This card is saying that it's okay to go down a path you have never been down. Oftentimes when we learn the most is when we take a chance and try something new. This would never mean to go down a path on a dark, scary night where you clearly can tell that you could be in danger. There's a difference between healthy fear and when it's obvious that something is not safe. So please understand the difference, and I will talk more about that in future videos. For now, this card is indicating that to make a change can often switch timelines for you to a better timeline, and many people aren't going to understand what timelines are. I will cover this more thoroughly in another video, but in essence, a timeline is the life you're currently living, the life you're aware of, the life you are conscious of. There are many timelines going on consecutively. So in one timeline, you already have the perfect job. You already have the perfect relationship. You already have the perfect health. It's learning to converge the timelines into one. Again, that's a whole video, maybe two or more, that's going to take a while to thoroughly explain. So in the meantime, the takeaway I would like for you to have from this card is that change is good. And just even making small changes. A lot of times we take the same route, either to work, to the grocery store, to pick up the children. Take a different route sometimes. It may take you 30 seconds out of your way, a minute out of your way. If you're able to do that, I live in an area where we can do that without running into traffic jams or anything like that. So when you can, just do a little bit extra, a little bit different. Do something different. Maybe park in a different place when you're going to the grocery store. We tend to get in a habit of doing the same thing day in, day out. We get out of bed on the same side. We have our morning routine that's always the same. We drive to work or school or to pick up the children to the grocery store in the same way. Everything is the same. This card is encouraging us to try something different. It's step out of your comfort zone a little. Just try something different. It's amazing things can happen from just making small changes. And when you jump timelines, jumping smaller timelines, in other words, if you want that new job that earns you so much more money than what you're earning now, you might start with a raise, a small raise, let's say $2 an hour. That is not what most people want to see. They want to see their dream home now. They want to see the income they want now, millions, to be more than comfortable. So sometimes it does happen where a timeline jumps in such a dramatic way, but usually it's small increments towards the desired timeline. Okay, the next card we have is the bird's nest. This again goes along with the birth. In many instances, this is preparing, say, the nursery for the baby. In other instances, which I'm getting a really strong feeling for, this is intended to mean a new home, a new beginning. Doesn't have to be a home, a new home, but it's a new beginning. You're setting up something. It's either setting up something, a job, a business. It's something you've been working on. You've been setting up for your future, something you've been desiring. So this is also an important card, as are all of them, that it's telling you, yes, you are on track. Every single card I pulled is telling you you are on track, and also reminding you to be open to change, to trying new things. Next we have the King of Scrolls. This is an important card as well, because he's indicating, I don't want to use the word royalty, but it's coming to me as meaning special. Something very special that you've been looking forward to is about to come to fruition. That's another good sign. And then we have the Akashic Field. I can do a video all on its own on the Akashic Records. The Akashic Field, the Akashic Records are basically where we store, everything is stored from every single lifetime we've lived. Everything from the inception of the earth, every single thing that's ever occurred in all of the universes is stored in the Akashic Records, the Akashic Field. You can think of it as a huge library. It's where everything, once you transition, it's easily accessible. Many can access it now. When you vibrate high enough, raise your vibration, your frequency, you can see more from the Akashic Field, which is helping you to navigate your way through this life. And next we have the Winged Messengers. I always thought this card is so adorable. It's fairies, birds, even insects. A lot of people receive signs from winged messengers. Sometimes it's our spirit guides, sometimes it's guardian angels, sometimes it's loved ones who are trying to get a message across, and we should never stress out thinking I'm not getting the message. They're trying, I see a hummingbird on my windowsill every day, and I know they're trying to tell me something and I'm not getting the message. Oftentimes they're just trying to let you know you're not alone. We're here, you're loved. They're giving you support in a way that they want you to understand. So just take it for what it is. If it makes you smile, they got their message across. Next we have the Four of Roses, Views of the Ego. Now this card is picturing someone who looks different in the mirror than he does. It shows him in the mirror, and it shows him standing as his 3D self looking in the mirror. What this is telling me in this case today is that it's important for us to really be who we claim to be. Be your authentic self at all times. We get in this habit, too many of us get in this habit of thinking, well, I won't be accepted if I don't put on my best act when I go out. I certainly won't make the sales I need to make. There's so many excuses we can come up with why we can't be our authentic self. And the fact is, people love it when you're your authentic self. That's when you will make more of the sales. And a lot of times people will say they haven't developed their personality enough. Young people in their 50s and 60s I've seen feel that way. They just don't feel that they can be accepted. I have a whole thing I do on confidence coaching. It's kind of the basis of everything. So this card is reminding us, be authentic. It's okay to be you. You will be accepted. Once you learn to understand yourself, and I'll do a video helping you to understand what that means and ways to go about learning to like yourself, then learning to love yourself, learning to respect yourself. These things are key. It's not that difficult. For many, there'll be some programming from childhood and earlier years that need to be looked at, sorted out, filed in the proper places in your mind, and then you can move past it. as with any emotion, any trauma, and some traumas obviously require counseling. This I'm not trying to be a counselor. I've had extensive psychology training in college. However, I am not degreed, so I am not pretending to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, anything of that sort. Anyway, many traumas you will need help to move through. The smaller things, the lesser traumas, disappointments, things in life that so many of us experience, a breakup, a loss of a job, feel the emotions. By all means, always feel the emotions that are coming through. They need to be dealt with. Let them wash through you. After you feel them, don't hang on to them. Hanging on to anger, if somebody left you, being resentful towards that person, they're out of your life. You may have children together and therefore you may be able to make their life miserable in ways. It's hurting everyone, but it's really hurting you because they can escape you at times. You will never escape you. We all need to learn to love ourselves because we are with ourselves all the time. And again, you can check out my website if you want to reach me, contact me, since that is one of the main things I do is confidence coaching. It's Telynn at spirittalk.com, TELYNN at spirittalk.com. And you will be able to reach me there, and I can work one-on-one with you. You can read a little bit that's on the site, but that's a whole other thing that we will talk about more in other videos. The next card is setting your course. Many are afraid to set a course because they're afraid of failure. Again, we come back to confidence. It seems to be key with everything. And when we set a course, you have to be ready to alter the course. I had set a course and it was shown to me that even though it was a great course, I was enjoying the heck out of it, it wasn't supposed to go on forever. So I had to be ready to change my course, which I have done now. And obviously life is a lifelong journey, an eternal journey. So for now, I have changed my course and I'm exploring the new area that I find myself in. I'm not talking physicality. I'm talking the new work I'm doing, much of which I've been doing all my life. I was just doing other things for income. I was a boutique owner. I was a college student studying psychology and business for a lot of years. And now I've been guided, really guided, when everything you thought you were doing that you were supposed to continue doing stops working. That's when you need to be ready to alter your course. So it's always good to set a course. Sometimes you may feel you have no idea what you even want anymore. And so there are things you can always call on your guardian angels, your spirit guides, your higher self. All the beings who come from the love and the light are just waiting to assist you. And a lot of us will get frustrated because we want those answers now. It's like, well, I just lost this job, so what am I supposed to do now? And you may not be supposed to know the answer to that for maybe a week or 2 weeks because the timing isn't right. And it could also be dependent on other things. Maybe the vacancy for that job that's coming up isn't going to be available for 2 more weeks. Maybe the person who's vacating that job that you're going to take the place of is stalling for some reason. So you always need to remember that the universe, your higher self, God, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, they all have your highest good in mind. They're always working with you towards that goal. And when we sleep at night, when we meditate, I can't go into enough detail about how important it is to meditate. It silences the mind so your spirit can communicate with the spirit world, which again is your higher self, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, the ascended masters. So many beings who come from the love and the light. Anyway, set a course. If you have an idea what you really want to do in life, and this could be whether you're 15, 50, anywhere in between, maybe 80, just be prepared to alter your course when you're receiving guidance that it needs to be altered. This could come in the way of emotions. Like, I really thought I wanted to go to Spain this summer, but now I'm really feeling like I don't want to go. I'm feeling like I'd rather go to Sedona. It's just be open to change, because everything happens for a reason. And I'll get into this more in another video, but when we're in the interim state between lives, we're making plans for this life. And it's not like it's going to be exactly this way and I'm going to go down exactly this road and I'm going to accomplish exactly this. That's not how it works. We have free will when we're here on earth, so we may have plan A. And for those who are living out plan A, congratulations. Most of us aren't. Some people may be on plan Z. It's because of free will. It's hard to explain. Again, it's going to take a lot more time to explain it to where everyone will have a better grasp of what it is. But because a tree has so many branches, let's say you're on plan D and you went to one branch, but then instead of going further onto that branch, you branched off onto another branch, because each tree will have one branch with 100 different branches and then another, several different branches. And so it's just endless, the different possibilities. The best way I heard it put is, if you're meant to walk down a certain road in this life, you're going to walk down that road. How you get there because of free will can change constantly. Everything is always changing. When you get a reading from a medium, a psychic, all of us who have second sight, it's not always going to be exactly as they say. It's your energy at the moment. It's the most likely scenario in that moment. But because things are always changing, you never know. There could be a phone call that comes in from, let's say, somebody I haven't talked to in 20 years. And so what I was going to do for the rest of the day might change, because that person might say, hey, let's go out to lunch. So some people will argue, well, that was planned. In the end, it's what feels right to you. Your reality is your reality. If you believe that that was planned, that that person was supposed to come into your life, then they were. If you believe that that disrupted your plans in a good or a bad way, then it did. So there's no one thing that's right or wrong in most everything that you will encounter in this 3D matrix that we elected to be in. We're all here because we chose to be here. The next card I have is the War of the Roses. This card indicates you have been at battle. Now, a lot of times we are at battle with ourselves. We're not our best friend too much of the time. We have to learn to be our friend. We have to learn to be our nurturer, because there's nobody else in this world who's going to make any one person happy. You are the only one who can make you happy. There are people who can complement your life and add to it, add more color, so many different variables. But a miserable, unhappy person is not going to have somebody come into their life and magically transform them into a happy person. And again, we're all going to experience disappointments and heartaches in life. Somebody coming into your life after the death of a loved one, that will provide a lot of comfort. But I'm sure you can all understand that nobody is going to make the pain from that death go away. For example, if you lost a beloved husband, meeting somebody new in the next week or so, it's not going to take away the loss, the pain, the grief that you're feeling for the person who transitioned. Now, maybe a year or two down the road, you're going to feel happy again when you do meet somebody. But if you weren't happy on the inside, there's nothing that person could do coming into your life to make you happy. Nobody can ever make you happy. There was a card I wanted to expand on a little more. paths unknown when I was talking about how important it is to be open to altering, or sorry, not altering your course. That was another card that I want to check on and get more clarification on too. This card is about taking a different path, a different way to work, all those things that I was talking about then. And the card that's coming up that's telling me more about that is to diversify. So we often tend to put all of our eggs in one basket. That's a silly saying, but what's a good way to describe that? Well, let's talk about investments. When you're investing, you don't want to put $500,000 in one investment, because if that investment goes bust, then you've lost all of your money. Diversifying your happiness is also important. It's somebody might say, well, the only time I'm happy is when I spend time with my boyfriend. That's not diversifying. You want to be able to enjoy many different areas of your life. You want to be able to enjoy sitting down and, let's say, reading a book, watching your favorite show. You could say, you would hopefully get to the point where you could say, I'm happy when I'm with my boyfriend, but I'm also happy when I get to have a night alone and I'm, sitting watching a movie by candlelight or reading a book, my favorite book. So not expecting any one area to fulfill you in every way is what this card is trying to get the message across for you. This card, the archangels, they are with us at all times. Our guardian angels, the archangels, they guide us, but only when we ask for it. Because of free will, the human's free will, there is nothing that can be done unless you are open to receiving guidance. And a lot of times, as with so many other things, we will think that nothing's happening. I've been asking for help from my guardian angels, my spirit guides, my higher self, and I'm still stuck. It's been 6 months. It's been a year. It's because it's not the right time. Things that need to happen first have not happened. Remaining in faith, keeping the faith is very important. A lot of people like to think we're being tested. If we're being tested, it's because we chose to test ourselves. So there's so many different ways to look at things, and oftentimes we don't realize this, but when we look at things a certain way, not only is that our paradigm, our map of the world, but it becomes a reality, a full-on reality. That's why they say you make your own reality. There is so much truth to that. So the realities you want to make are the ones that make you feel the best. Your emotions are a gauge as to how you're doing. Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, how many friends you have, how popular you are on Facebook. What matters is how you feel. If you're comfortable with yourself and you're living your life to the best of your ability, or working on living your life to the best of your ability, then you are successful. Another card I was wanting more clarification on was the War of the Roses. It's not just that we are at war amongst ourselves. Oftentimes, especially when we're not feeling as confident, and confidence does ebb and flow, but not completely, not always. There's a base level. Many of us have enough confidence to get us successfully through life where other people are sorely lacking. For those who are sorely lacking in confidence, every day can be such a challenge. Going to the grocery store is such a challenge, because these people, we often feel that everybody is looking at me. I'm so noticeable in a negative way that everybody is going to look at me. I can't go to the grocery store unless somebody goes with me. The wars that rage among ourselves are wars of that nature. It also is telling me that to let you know you're not that special in that way. It's not that everybody is going to be staring at you. I know a lot of people will think that, oh, the hair has got to be perfect. I've got to look my best to go out in public, or people will stare at me and point and laugh. Most people go unnoticed. Most people blend in. There's things we do if we want to be noticed. There's some negative attention and some positive attention, which again is a whole different video. When I'm using these cards to talk to you, they're telling me how to start talking about a certain subject, but then the subject takes on a life of its own. You may have already noticed that while I've been talking. What I'm telling you is what I'm being guided to tell you. This isn't coming from my mind. Obviously, some of it is, but the majority of it, Spirit is telling me what to say, giving me the images in my mind so that I can put them into words. The light of the world. I don't know if many of you have heard the expression light workers. Many of us came to Earth at this time to assist the Earth in its ascension. We're too often living just in a 3D matrix. It's all about what car you're driving, how much money you're making. And we've been taught to believe that that's what we're supposed to be doing in this 3D matrix. And we gauge what we have as success. But as I was just saying, success is more about how comfortable you are in your own skin, how you feel about you. It's something to always keep in mind. You may not be driving the car of your dreams, but you may be in a comfortable car that is safe and reliable and gets you where you need to go. And when you're in the moment and you're grateful, gratitude, another huge topic and so important that I will go into in another video, because that I really want to hit deeply on gratitude. That can shift timelines and take you out of negativity quicker than almost just about anything. Another card I just pulled is the Ascent. And we were just talking about ascending, which has many meanings. We want to be moving forward in the way that we're not growing stagnant. Life, we came here to enjoy this. We came here to learn lessons. We didn't come here to be hurt. We came here to remember who we are. We are spiritual beings in a human body. A lot of times we think we're a human body with a spirit, but it's the other way around. We're just temporarily using this physical vehicle to accomplish the things, to learn the things, to enjoy the things that we came here to learn in this life. So this card is reminding you that you have all the love and the light in you. It can't come from outside of you. People can complement your lives, like I said, add color to them, enjoyment, excitement, but the light is in you and always has been in you and always will be in you. In this world, even through the depressing times, the times of grief, loss, the light is still in you. When you transition, you are still the light. It's always there. You are eternal. Okay. Lastly, we have the Ark of the Covenant. This indicates that there's going to be some type of a contract. You may have made a contract with yourself. That's what's coming through the most. Other people will see this as a contract they're getting ready to sign for a new house, a new business. But for the people I think who need to hear this the most right now, it's a contract you've made with yourself. This card is asking you to remember that and to honor it. Now, this will have so many different meanings for each individual. And I could give some examples. I hesitate to do that because I want each individual hearing this to take what it means to them. But an example would be, you chose to begin to love yourself more. Very simple, generic kind of example. It was a contract you made with yourself. And most of these contracts were made before we came down here. So honor that contract. this card is asking you to honor the contracts. It's not that anything terrible is going to happen to you if you don't, but why would you want to stay stagnant? When you honor the contracts that you made, the ones that you know about consciously here on earth, the ones that you made before you came down in this incarnation, you can't just put your finger on and say, oh, well, I'm all of a sudden going to know everything that I made contracts with myself before I came down here. You'll know them when the time is right, but they're not going to be, usually not going to be written out on a piece of paper. A picture of a fortune cookie just flashed in my mind, opening a fortune cookie and having it tell you exactly what you had been wondering about, or giving you the answer that you expected to see. So somebody out there that resonated with, I can tell, I can feel that that was meant for somebody. I have my oracle deck I want to pull a card from. Laid out here. Spiritual growth. It's everything. When you're working on your spiritual growth, you know you're not alone. We are never alone, but too often times we feel like we're alone. We have our spirit guides, our guardian angels, so many beings looking out for us, loving us. If you feel lonely, you can call on your guardian angels, your spirit guides, ask them to wrap you in their wings. Just feel the warmth, the comfort, the love emanating from these beings who are guiding you in every possible way, especially when you ask. When you ask, you get their full guidance. Other times they can only kind of be on the sidelines. You're allowing them to be in the game when you ask for their guidance. I want to pull a card from my number deck. Excuse me, my Reiki deck. Energy. I don't know how many of you have understood how we are vibrating beings. We are masses of energy that vibrate at different levels. The higher we vibrate, the better we feel emotionally. So on days you might not be feeling your best, your vibration might be lower than it is on other days. I will be going into depth in other videos about our energy. In the meantime, there are so many beautiful videos out there with wonderful spiritual teachers. A lot of days, if I want to feel, that I want to feel some resonance with someone. Sometimes when I'm getting ready in the day for the day, I'll punch in spiritual lessons, and I'm usually guided to who I want to hear that day. And the synchronicities sometimes are absolutely amazing. I'm assuming, getting the feeling that many of you have had a lot of synchronicities during this video since I've been talking. And that's the way it should be. And sometimes you may see this on another day, and all of a sudden other things will pop out that will be synchronicities that you didn't experience the first time you heard it. Anyway, it's because we're energy. And because there is no such thing as time, so you will sometimes experience time in a different way than you normally experience time. But it's because we're all energies. We're all vibrating masses of energy, which is certainly not to make it sound like we're less than we are. It's beautiful. We're so much more than the blood, the bones, the skin, the hair. We're an energy that never dies. Our energy takes different forms in different lifetimes, in different realms. It's just a beautiful, never-ending energy, light. I will go more into depth in other videos, but I did want to, I've been guided for a few weeks now, just finding the time and getting ready to do the videos, to start the videos. It was, we can always find reasons why now's not the time. I'm pretty good about following signs and guidance, so I knew today was the day that I wanted to start these videos where I'm drawing cards that I read the energy from, that I take the energy from and have spirit guide me as to what to say. And again, I want to encourage everyone to go to my website. I would love to speak more with you, work one-on-one with many of you. It's, as I said earlier, Telynn, Telynn, at spirittalk.com. Until then, I wish you all well.